entering his first ever ranking event final. Let's hear it for Chang Bing-yu! His fourth ranking event final. Let's hear it for Chris Wakelin.
Snooker season, and we'll be crowning our 11th different champion. It's the Scottish Open showpiece, former shootout champion Chris Wakelin against the dazzlingly gifted Chang Bing-yu for the Stephen Hendry Trophy. Two players getting a standing ovation. The crowds have been great all week here in Edinburgh. It's a special way to end another calendar year of snooker. Two players who thoroughly deserve to be contesting this final. They played with aggression and poise and a lot of skill. Who is going to prevail when it matters most today? Over the best of 17, the first to 9, to lift that wonderful trophy and pick up a cheque for £100,000.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The first frame. Chris Wakelin to break.
Leo Scullion with the honour of officiating the final. Something on the cue ball. So he's already called into duty. Bound to be nerves for these two players. Of course, Wakelin has greater experience of a match of this magnitude. His fourth ranking final. He's a former shootout champion, but to win this would elevate his career to a whole new level. And for Chang Bing-yu, Joe, who hadn't been past the round of 16 in a ranking event before this week, his form, his skill against the very toughest players in the world has been a revelation.
He most certainly has, hasn't he? Good afternoon, everybody. Now, has he just covered the red to the left corner? Because it can make a difference, because the frame could have been over there had he been able to see that red. It was on to knock it in, but as you can see, can't see it. Now, it's a different mindset today, I think, for Chang Bing-yu. Every match he's played, he hasn't been expected to win, but maybe he's expected to win against Chris Wakelin, and that could make a difference. In mindset, that is.
It's a good point. Of course, 12 months ago, Wu Yize played Lei Pei Fan, and Wu was the bookmaker's favourite, but underperformed. And Lei Pei Fan deservedly won. So it is a different dynamic for Chang today, but the way he's carried himself this week against players of the very highest caliber would suggest he's equipped to cope. We shall see.
Well, one thing that he's done this week, Chang Bing-yu, is knock in the long balls. And when he knocks in the long balls, as we see the red go to that left corner, but again, he's covered it. When you knock in the long balls, it gives you so much confidence. I know he wants to take this long red onto the right corner, but I don't think he can afford to take it on, because if he misses it, he's guaranteed to leave reds on. It's okay taking long balls on, but you've got to do it with some kind of safety. Mustn't come over the left side of the table here. Has to be really thin. Now, has he covered the red? The black available.
There's his mum, Shang Lai Ping, who travels with him, and Chang has said that he finds her a calming influence in the auditorium. Certainly worked for him this week.
So, first chance, Chris Wakelin. And he's potted it. And I think he's on the black. And this is a very good chance. And he'll want to lay a marker down pretty quickly, Chris Wakelin. And that's not the best positional shot. I thought he would have played that much harder, come off the cushion with a bit of side on and had the choice of 2 or 3 reds. But he's still on this red to the middle.
Chris Wakelin, 8.
And that is a bad miss, you've got to say. Wasn't that difficult. And this game is all about punishment and pain. If your opponent can punish your mistakes, it makes you think. And just tightens your arm up a little. Not an easy shot this to the baulk corner, but a chance. Can't leave anything easy. Long way away. And has left a red to the green pocket.
There are bound to be nerves, aren't there, for both players? This is a huge occasion for both of them. For Wakelin, who's been in 2 big finals aside from the shootout, come out on the wrong side against Judd Trump in Belfast, and Ding last season at the International Championship in Nanjing. This would take his career to a new level, and for Chang, well, what a breakthrough it will be for him.
Well, that's very rare to see Chris Wakelin miss a red to the middle. He felt that was the safest option rather than taking it to the corner. I thought the opposite. I thought pulling back for the black, he wasn't leaving anything on at all. As it happens, he's just hit it a little bit too hard. And I think this red is cuttable to the green pocket. So another chance. Difficult chance. And this time it goes in.
Chang returned from his ban by winning the Asia Pacific Championship to get back on the tour. And remarkably, in getting to the final, he's now inside the top 64 on this season's points alone.
Yeah, it's unheard of that, isn't it? To get into the top 64 in your first year. Wow, that's going some.
Both of these players are well ensconced as regards the top 32 on the one-year list for the World Grand Prix in February in Hong Kong. But if Chang wins today, he'll be in the top 12 on that list. One ahead of the Northern Ireland Open winner Jack Lazowski, and that would put him in line for the Tour Championship, the 3rd of the Players Series events. So the opportunities that open up today for both of these players in terms of ranking points, prize money, almost limitless, really. As the champion of champions next season as well, of course. So there's an awful lot at stake.
So the first real good chance for Chang Bingyu. Chris Wakelin had a chance. It was a good one. Missed the red to the right middle. Yeah, didn't quite get hold of the cue ball there. Wanted to be straight on the red to the right middle. May take it to the corner. That wasn't a good positional shot.
Chang Bingyu,
And he's left it right over the pocket. So, yeah, it is a nervy start from both players. But another chance for Chris Wakelin.
1.
It was mighty close, this. That's why the red stayed as close as it did to the pocket. Wakelin here, courtesy of victories over Oliver Lyons, Anthony McGill, British Open finalist this season by whitewash, Yuan Sejun, Zhou Yulong, and then, of course, yesterday, Matthew Selt. And what a finish it was from Wakelin, because Selt had come back on 3 occasions from 50-odd behind to pinch frames. But Wakelin got in with a great red and then a terrific blue into the centre pocket on his way to a 77 break.
Well, speaking of blues, that's a real confidence booster, that one.
Seven.
Possibly the red a little thin, and that's why it's not ideally on the black. Big decision here. Does he play to go into the reds, playing it with right hand side on the cue ball? He did, and that's a really good pot and position, and this frame is now in Chris's hands.
14.
I've seen him play many times and admired the way he attacks the game.
15.
Very positive player.
He's spoken about this week how he feels that's been really the turning point for his career, the realisation that the best way for him to play is to be aggressive, to attack the balls, to worry less about the result, more about the way he plays. But there's still plenty of work to be done in this frame, and that's not gone to plan. He obviously feels he's had a heavy contact there.
I think he did. I don't think he could be so far out with his positional play. So heavy contact, took the speed out of the cue ball. Oh, this is tough.
Chris Wakelin, 22.
So Chang Bing-yu not made to pay the price.
Not much to go on in terms of a head-to-head, by the way. They've only played once, and that was pretty low-key, a round 2 match at the Gibraltar Open 4 years ago. This has rather more riding on it. Wakelin won that 4-2.
Well, again, he got so close to the pot, it stays on the lip. And it's these little shots that can cost you games and eventually cost you tournaments. Very attacking shot to play. It was nicely on the black. Well, fortunately, he can't see the easy red, but he can see the red to the middle. And he's a very good middle pocket player. So, another chance. And you've got to say that it wasn't a good shot from Chang Bing-yu to take on that very difficult red and leave a chance at the red to the middle. You know, if you're going to take on those really difficult ones, you've got to make sure the cue ball is safe. .21 points the difference. Quick look at the scoreboard.
13. 14.
Well, that certainly helps. Appreciated by the crowd. Yeah, trying to bring the other red into play, but if he takes big colours off the loose reds, he wouldn't need that red.
$20.
Wakelin is now back in the top 16. He slipped out, which meant he wasn't a seed for the UK Championship. And he won't be playing at the Masters. Of course, the UK is the cut-off for that big invitational next month. In fact, it hadn't been all that much of a season for Wakelin arriving here in Edinburgh. His one standout result, and it was an important one, was getting to the semi-finals in Saudi Arabia in Jeddah, which earned him £100,000, the same as he'd win if he walks away with the trophy today. And of course, that earned him a lot of ranking points. So his one-year list is looking very healthy. He's 10th at the moment.
$26.
Oh, he didn't want to finish straight on the blue. He might just have a slight angle to get to the red by the brown.
$41.
So brown or higher. And Chang will need snookers.
$32.
Yeah, that was a definite kick, but happily for Wakelin, at a key moment of the frame, it didn't affect the pot.
Yeah, he could do with this red in, though. Just one snooker.
So often with a bad contact,
56.
either the pace is taken out of the shot or the direction of the shot is altered. So he could have missed the brown as a result of that. He didn't. This to make sure.
Yeah, well, he needed a couple of chances. But he's taken the opening frame. And he's got to feel good about himself now.
42.
Chang Bing-Yu took on a couple of long-range reds to the green pocket, and on both occasions couldn't have got any closer. But they didn't drop. And Wakelin has taken advantage. This is the shot in question. Look how close this was.
Yeah, but he's brought the cue ball back across the table and left a red to the right middle. He could have kept the cue ball at the right side of the table and he wouldn't have left anything. Would have made the pot to the corner a little bit harder, but safer to play.
46. 48.
Nothing like winning the first frame of a final to settle those nerves. And Wakelin has taken these well after a couple of full starts.
$51.
Chang led from the front last night sensationally. Total clearance in the first frame against Mark Allen, another century in the second, and a couple of other breaks which weren't centuries but were
55.
for the quality of the break just as good. But it's Wakelin who started the better.
Yeah, and he potted a very important blue at the beginning of the break as well, into the corner. A brave blue to take on and reap the benefits.
66.
The 73 clearance from the former shootout champion Chris Wakelin. The Scottish Open final is underway, and Wakelin strikes first. He leads 1-0. Just a few signs of nerves from both initially in that first frame, understandably, but Wakelin settled nicely. Breaker 73. Frame 2 of 8 in this session. A possible 9 this evening. The first to 9 to walk away with the trophy. Wakelin has the significant advantage of big final experience under his belt. He'll be hoping to bring that to bear.
Yeah, I shouldn't have got the kiss on the brown. And he's left a half chance here for Chang. And these are the kind of chances where you're not leaving an easy red on. It takes the pressure off the pot. These have got to be going in for him to have a chance in this final. Good pot. Good pot. And you see where he's played the cue ball. He's not leaving an easy shot for Chris Wakelin. Now, can he come down for the red by the black? Oh, he found the gap beautifully there. Nicely on the red next to the black, which frees the black into both pockets. He had a chance in the last frame. Him played a poor positional shot on the blue.
Seven.
Yeah, could have done with just a little bit more speed on the black ball. These are tough shots.
His scoring in this tournament has been phenomenal. He's made 10 centuries in all,
14.
8 at the venue. That's twice as many as anyone else.
Yeah, you never really settle, Philip, until you win a frame.
15.
And that's not the best angle on the black. Great atmosphere, look at the crowd. Not easy to get to the next red. Maybe playing one to the middle, but it's going to be a difficult shot if he does. Baulk corner also available. And red in the middle of that cluster if he takes the more difficult pink. As you can see, the pink spot held. So, big shot this. Nicely played. He just strokes the difficult shots in. And realising that the pink didn't spot allows him to play onto this red.
21. 22.
Opening more reds up with that shot. And doesn't really need to do anything. No need to go in and out of balk and send the cue ball around the angles. Just drop it in. And make sure you're on a red.
$27.
Yeah, he was pinching a little on the pocket to remain nicely on the black, but he very nearly missed the red. Look at this. Pinch some. Now if he pots it in the other side of the pocket, he loses the cue ball. Again, he may have to play the red to the middle. Chose to play the red to the corner, and this hasn't been his favourite pocket so far. It's got close to 2, but so close it stayed right over the pocket. No.
Timing you, 35.
Cute, that red coming down the table, and he's left it on. Things not going Chang Bing-Yu's way at the moment. He didn't get on the red as he intended. He needs Chris Wakelin to let him off now. Lots of check on the cue ball to bring it back down for the blue. And he's played that superbly. He's got the option of going into the reds, which I think he'll do. Very attacking player, Chris. Wants to win the frame at this visit. He just didn't get into the meat of them. Now, can he be tempted by this red?
6.
Along the cushion. Just caught the edge instead of full in the face. And that's what he needed, Chang Bing-Yu. He needed a let-off. Chris, very aware of punishment, wants to punish him. Great middle pocket player, but this red to the middle that he's thinking about, it's not exactly on. So, change of plan.
Chris Wakelin, 6.
And a good pace on the cue ball. Yeah, this red on the left side of the table that he can see is going to be sending it towards that right corner, and that's why he's a little hesitant to play it. I'll be happy to see a red go near that right side cushion.
One of the features of Chang's run to this final, we know about his wonderful break building and potting skills, but he's more than held his own in the safety stakes as well. He did that again last night against Mark Allen. He often had Allen in trouble behind baulk colours, kept the pressure on him. Allen's top break in that match last night, just 38.
Well, Chris Wakelin's already beaten that, hasn't he, in the first frame. So set down a marker to Chang Bing-Yu. I beat you the last time, and I'm not afraid of you this time. It's looking good. It's looking very good. Now, can Chris Wakelin see this long red? I think he can. It's a chance. Oh, that was a chance. He'll be disappointed missing that.
And slightly concerned by the margin that he missed it. But it's a pretty awkward table at the moment. A lot of awkward reds to negotiate.
Yeah, 29 points at this stage. 29 points is a pretty good lead with the reds where they are. Which way's the cue ball running? Well, that's a clever shot. Didn't want to play the safety off that shot. He would have brought those two reds into play. Chris looking to bring reds off the cushion. Chang wants to put them on.
Not dissimilar in some ways to the final frame of last night's semi-final when Chang Bingyu got in initially, built a handy lead. The table was very awkward, and with good safety, Selby-esque nous, he was able to lock the frame down, and Mark Allen was really chasing his tail, trying to get back into it, and of course in the end let Chang in to finish the job.
Again, good speed. He's such a good middle pocket player. I've said it a few times. Again, brave shot to take on that. The black, equally brave. He does take it on.
He potted two absolutely brilliant centre pocket shots on his way to the clinching 77 break against Matt Sell yesterday. We heard his vocal celebration at the end of it. No wonder. As he said himself, he came in with pretty low expectations in this tournament. He was ill last week. He said he was suffering from a bout of pneumonia, pulled out of the shootout. He's really on the stretch here. This is very awkward, isn't it?
Yeah, doesn't need to do anything with the cue ball though, just pop the black. Good pot. Has it quite come far enough for the red? I think not.
8.
Another inch or so, and he's on that red. Another tough shot to the middle though. Awkward cueing as well.
Chris Wakelin, 8.
It was a tough shot, you've got to say, but it's the way to play, Chang. You've got to attack him and make him think about leaving balls on. So another chance for Chang Bing-yu. Still a tough table.
One.
Doesn't want to be dead on the cushion. Needs a little angle. Perfect.
6.
Didn't feel right on the shot, so got up, got back down again. And that's what you should do. So many players say to me, I just stayed down and played the shot. I should have got up. Well, there's top player in the world. Standing back up again, recomposing, and that is not a good positional shot.
14.
A little careless to leave himself hampered on this red.
Chang Bing-yu, 14.
It's the kind of frame where rhythm tends to desert you because the table is very awkward. Making any break of substance is difficult, but Chang, of course, crucially has the numerical advantage of 35 points. There's still bags of points there, but none of them are straightforward for Chris Wakelin.
He needs a bit of luck. I don't think he's got it.
Welcome to our viewers in Europe, where the Scottish Open final is underway. Chris Wakelin against Chang Bing-yu. Wakelin taking the opening frame with an impressive clearance of 73 after both players had shown a few early final nerves. This frame has been quite difficult in terms of the awkwardness of the reds in particular, as you can see. Chang has carved out a handy advantage and he's got an easy starter to get back in.
One.
Yeah, he's in no man's land. He was trying to leave an angle on a colour to either drop him behind those 3 reds or try and develop them. He's nowhere. And I think at this stage, a colour safe is as good as anything, but he's playing the pot. Right-handed, with right-hand side on the cue ball. Amazing shot, that.
4.
Never used to be a thing, did it? Before Ronnie O'Sullivan made headlines against Alain Robidoux at the Crucible by switching hands so effectively. Now, so many of these players are so adept at doing it. Chang is among them.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Made it look easy. And he's tried to leave an angle on the black to disturb the 2 reds. Has he got the angle? Difficult shots made to look easy, as I say. And just about had the angle. Now, has he been fortunate? Or is he unfortunate? Does the red pass the black?
12.
If it does, he should win the frame. And it does. So red and the black will leave Chris Wakelin needing snookers.
13.
It's not been a particularly pretty frame. Chang will not care a jot about that. So important to get one early in your first final. And perseverance has paid off. He got in front. It was always going to be a tall order for Wakelin, given the state of the table, to make an effective counter. And so both
21.
making their mark early in the title match.
And that was an important red, Philip, because had it stayed out, it was one snooker to tie. And look at the colours down the other end of the table. Battle is joined.
28. And frame.
Chris Wakelin remains in his chair. Chang Bing-Yu levels up the Scottish Open final. One frame apiece here in Edinburgh. The Bet Victor Scottish Open, and that is the prize at the end of this evening, the Stephen Hendry Trophy, 7 times world champion.
Chris Wakelin to break.
And it's one frame apiece, so both will feel they're now part of this final. Chris Wakelin with a nice 73 clearance in the first. The second was an awkward sort of frame, but Chang was always in front and was able to finish the job to equalise. Another 6 coming your way this afternoon, the usual interval after 4, and a possible 9 this evening.
Yeah, dangerous red to the right corner. I say dangerous because the red next to the black is on. What can you say about that? Except brilliant.
Yeah, I think Chris agrees with you, Joe. That's just too good.
Magnificent shot. And didn't leave anything easy on for Chris Wakelin had it not gone in. And he's got a red to the left corner. And if this goes in, it opens the door for the other 2 reds to go into the same pocket. So this is an important ball. Good pot.
7.
Just overrun for comfort on the blue.
He's made 26 centuries this season, Chang Bing-Yu. Only 6 players have made more than that in this campaign. Selby's top of the tree with 40, who of course he beat. That's quite a tally for a player who was outside the top 64 before this tournament.
You can bet your life that nobody will want to play him in the early rounds in the remaining tournaments. Again, he overruns with the blue. May have to take the brown again. He could drop the blue in. Play for the red to the right centre, just bounce off the cushion. But this is much safer. If the brown goes in, it's bound to be on the red. His positional play has been superb throughout this tournament.
16.
He's already made 10 centuries in this tournament. That is quite amazing. For a rookie as well.
In some ways, though, it was the breaks that weren't centuries last night, most notably in the 5th frame, a 68, which had to be seen to be believed, really. The balls were incredibly awkward, and some of the shots he pulled out including that shot on the pink, in and out of baulk to get behind the two awkward reds on the right side cushion. Candidate for shot of the tournament.
Well, that shot he's just played there, if you look at the positional side of the shot there, look at the... He's hardly got any room at all for error to be on that red.
24.
That was a superb positional shot from pink to red. And now he's going to clear that red next to the black. The black's free in both pockets.
$31.
And deliberately left an angle on the black here to open the reds up. He'll need to play this with a little bit of screw on the cue ball to bring it out of the reds, but not too much. Beautiful. And he's opened another couple of reds there.
39.
He's still got a couple of reds he could play for here, but he might decide to go into the reds. And there's no correct shot to play, it's just what you fancy as a snooker player. You can go into them or play for the loose one. Decided to go into them, and he's on one, and he's earned a chance to win the frame at this visit. Started off with a tremendous red to the right corner.
$46.
This is the important time. This is the red. I mean, how good was that? He even had Chris smiling luck. Nothing you can do. That's what he's saying to himself. Nothing you can do about that. Played a half-decent break.
Something along those lines, anyway.
Now that's not quite as planned.
53.
Difficult red to the corner, and if he should miss it, they're all there for Chris Wakelin. Difficult cueing. Well played. Very well played indeed.
It just feels as though that second frame has really settled Chang down. We did see evidence of nerves in the first. Couple of errors that were certainly not evident last night in a masterclass against Mark Allen, but having got that scrappy second frame under his belt, he's now looking like the player who has lit up this tournament from day one.
61. $62.
This black then. Chris is going to need snookers, but I've got a feeling it's going to be another century. Applause for frame ball. Chris
69.
doesn't really want to watch his opponent because you can get caught up in their brilliance.
70. $76. 77.
We've had 47 centuries this week in Edinburgh. Xiao Xintong made a 146. At one stage, Chris Wakelin was eyeing a possible 16 red clearance and the highest professional break of all time. It wasn't to be. Jamie Burnett still holds that record with a 148 at the UK Championship back in 2004. But the look on Wakelin's face was a treat when Chang knocked in the initial red. It was sensational. And this is the result.
92.
Well, I can hear it. Everybody's saying,
99.
I could get this shot. I could get this shot. Number 11. 11 centuries in one tournament. What a rookie. We're surely watching a future world champion. He's lost the white ball, but it doesn't matter.
107.
Mum all smiles.
Wow.
What a break, launched by a spellbinding long red, even appreciated by his opponent, Chang Bingyu, turning on the style to lead 2-1. Stephen Hendry would have enjoyed that break. Hendry, as we know, not one to bandy praise around, but he's earmarked this young man as something extra special, and we're seeing lots of evidence of that this week in Edinburgh.
Yeah, and the problem it gives to your opponent is that you cannot afford to leave anything at all. Got to try and slow things down and wait for a good chance yourself. But sometimes that's so difficult to do when you're playing a guy of Chang's talent. Chris has already said earlier on in the week that when people play that type of shot, he likes to take a tough red onto the middle. And that looks like his plan here. The only problem is, yeah, he's had a change of plan. The only problem is, I was going to say, is that he could leave the game on. I think you can see the red by the green to play safe off, but he's got a long red to the right corner. Somewhere where his cue is there, that would be a good spot. Yeah, it's just a fraction too hard. I think Chris can see the edge of the pack of reds to try and bring the cue ball back to the baulk area. A ball shorter and he was in trouble. Well, he's pushed a red over the corner. He needs a bit of luck. And he holds his hand up, because had he been able to see that red, who knows? There is a red to the right corner, mind. Leave the cue ball where the red is. He may not leave the red to the left corner. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And as I said, if he left the cue ball where the red was, it takes the pressure off the shot because he wasn't leaving anything. He could have a go at that red with impunity. Look at this. Another great long red to the same pocket as the last frame. Well, the black kind of tied up, but the pink is available. Now that was a nice little rub on the brown.
6.
Yeah, he wants to get the black back on its spot. That's where all the damage is done. All the scoring is done with the black and pink available.
I think there was maybe a noise there as he was queuing. He looked round pretty sharpish, but it's not affected his pot,
14.
happily.
Might have affected his positional play though, because he didn't want to finish that angle on the red. You can see if he screws it back, he's hitting the red that's near the left side cushion. Hasn't quite got the angle to run through for the black. This isn't easy, and you can't pinch too much on the pocket. He's going to have to screw it back and play a tough black. That's the only thing he could do, is pull it back and play a tough black and try and regroup. £100 points more than Chris Wakelin at the moment. Well, that didn't go according to plan. He got into the cue ball too much.
22.
And he's out of position. I'd suggest the jaws of the green pocket is a good spot to put the cue ball. Doesn't want the cue ball to go in the pocket. That's looking good. That's looking very good.
Time you 22.
So not just a potter and break builder, but a clever player as well. Now, Chris has got a problem here, because if he plays the same shot and takes the cue ball back to where it is now, he covers the easy red, but he leaves the shot to nothing with that red directly above the black. And that's what he's aware of. He needs that red to slow down. That's a great safety shot. That's a great safety shot. Tap on the table from Chang. He covered that red just above the black. Well, he could just leave the cue ball down here near the right corner pocket. Now, which way is it going to pull? He's happy with that.
well over half an hour since Wakelin potted a ball of his own. Of course, he sat out that brilliant century launched by a wonderful long red in the previous frame. Chang in early in this one, but lost position.
That's another very good safety from Chris Wakelin. And the shot to nothing is not on now because of that red near the black cushion. The cue ball going into that red. He could just roll up to that red again like he did last time. He knows which way the cue ball is going to run. Well, let's open the game up, moving that red. It's great to watch the big breaks, isn't it? But it's also very interesting to watch this good safety play from two great players. Kind of in a bit of bother again.
This frame already longer than the previous one, which was won in an even 10 minutes by Chang, who's been consistently in the high 80s, even the early 90s with his safety, and that's every bit as important, particularly when you're playing players of the calibre of Maguire and Kyron Wilson and Mark Selby, and then last night Mark Allen. You've got to be able to mix it in that department as well, and he's certainly done that. Doesn't refuse much, does he? And that was a tough pot to take on, but never takes a backward step. Another good safety from Chris Wakelin. And an equally good safety shot from Chang. Good speed on the cue ball. Not just a potter. The red that's closest to the black cushion there. It's given him something to think about here. Got to try and avoid that red and the one nearest the right side cushion. And he didn't avoid both. Now, what's the damage, if anything? So he won the safety battle. But there's nothing easy there for Chang.
Yeah, that's not the best safety shot this time from Chang Ming-yu. He's left a possible red to the left corner, and he can play it with no fear. Yeah, got to get closer than that though. Got second prize.
Chang is the 16th player from mainland China to make a ranking final, hoping to become the 10th champion.
Well, this needs some thinking about. He can see the reds over the left side of the table, but doesn't look to be any hiding place there. The black now free. And it's trouble, this. It needs some thinking about. You might decide to play the big screw shot and try and take the cue ball back to the baulk area, but that's so dangerous because you don't know where the reds are going to go. Sometimes you just don't have a choice. Well, if the red doesn't pass the other red, that's a pretty good shot to get out of trouble.
And the tap from Wakelin, confirmation that he's thought that particular problem out very nicely.
Well, at the moment, Chris in charge of the safety, getting that cue ball into awkward spots. But there could be a chance here of the red to the right corner if he can miss the red below it. This is going to disturb something. Oh. Well, it looks pretty good at first glance. I don't think he's left anything. The safety not too difficult, but he's got to try and cover the red. That's nearest the left middle. Somewhere where he's pointing his cue is good. Got to avoid the middle pocket. Well, that's a fortuitous little kiss on the green.
And much like frame two, a pretty ugly looking table now. The reds congregating close to that left side cushion, the black currently surrounded.
He might have left a chance here. In fact, I think he has. Judging by his face, he's left a chance to the right corner. The black has gone safe, but the pink and blue are available. Yeah, it's awkward cueing. He's got to try and stop the cue ball. Digging right down into the cue ball to try and stop it for the pink.
One.
So he's in again with a 22-point lead before this break started. And there are 2 or 3 reds that are available to build the lead. Oh, wait for this. Oh, wow.
8.
That came so close, didn't it? It would have been most unfortunate had it gone in. Tried to bring more reds into play. Here, look.
Bingo.
Look at all the right-hand side on the cue ball there. To come back down the table for this red.
14.
But he could have done with a bit more pace. Well, a rare miss
14.
and a chance for Chris Wakelin. It's been a while since he potted a ball. Well over 40 minutes. Now, what can he do with it? As Philip said, it's not the easiest of tables, but there are 2 or 3 reds that are available just to get his arm going a little. Oh, if this red goes, what a great positional shot that was.
4.
He couldn't have picked it up and placed it any better. Great shot that, Chris.
For whom that shootout success a couple of years ago transformed his career. As he said himself at the time, prior to that, he couldn't buy a win. Not just the money and the points, which took all the pressure off in terms of his ranking, but the belief that came with it.
10.
And since then, of course, he's been in 2 big finals, including last season, International Championship. Lost 10-7 to Ding. But valuable experience gained in both that and the Northern Ireland Open final against Trump, which he's hoping is going to see him through today.
Yeah, and of course the money that he's won eases the pressure. He was struggling to pay bills and everything else, and now all of a sudden he earned nearly £300,000 last year. He's already earned £142,000 this year without this tournament.
I'll tell you shortly.
Wants to play the red that's closest to the black eventually. I'm not sure if this is the shot to take on. I am now.
I think it was. I
Yeah.
thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, had he hit the red and the black simultaneously, that would have been a foul. So you've got to hit the object ball first.
Okay.
And Leo Scullion is satisfied that's what happened.
Yeah, it was red first. Looked like it to me anyway. And the referee, who was the main man.
It's made a big difference to the table, hasn't it? Suddenly there are reds everywhere. And this will be a big frame for Wakelin to win, because once again he was on the back foot, the balls were awkward. Chang with, yes, a modest lead, but any lead in a frame when the balls are difficult is a very handy one.
Yeah, what a great
16.
shot that was though, Philip. You know, playing that red, and he played it with a lot of left-hand side on the cue ball, run inside to bring the cue ball out round the angles.
17.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Surely not.
Almost afraid to look as he walks round to look at the potting angle. But he's okay. Chang missed
24.
one to the left corner.
Oh,
25.
wow. That used all the pocket. This is the red that Philip was talking about. A rare miss from Chang Bing-yu. Yeah, he was thinking of bringing that red off the left side cushion, the one that's nearest to the cushion. Gonna need it to win the frame at this visit.
Three.
This frame has taken a bit of sorting out. It's by far and away the longest of the final so far, almost 28 minutes, but a very important one for Chris Wakelin. I think he'll be more than satisfied to be level at 2-all after the way Chang has played in frames 2 and 3. And having got him first in this one.
$37.
Well, that brown takes him into a 1-point lead. But as I say, the two reds over the left side of the table near the cushion are going to come into play. He might try and leave an angle on this next red to bring that red into play. Let's see if that's in his mind. It is, and he's got the angle, perfect angle, I think.
45.
Pop the red and bring the red into play. And that has given him a great chance of winning this fourth frame. And that was good thinking, to leave the angle on the red, to bring that red into play. And that miss by Chang could be very important.
52. 53.
Nice angle on the blue, just to drop in behind the red. It's just a little bit too hard for comfort.
58. Yeah.
So pressure on this, but he only needs the red and the black to leave Chang Bingyu needing snookers. Biggest shot in this final so far. And he used all of the pocket that dropped in. The right speed
59.
to play that.
He's taken these really well, and of course the key shot was the one where the red was in very close attendance to the black, which split things all over the place and gave him the chance to make what looks like a frame-winning break.
66.
Just one snooker as things stand.
No, sir. So, not over yet.
Chris Wakeling, 66.
As Philip said, one snooker. Many a frame has been won from this position.
Two.
Well, a chance here of getting the cue ball in behind the black. Just got to be careful not to leave the green on if he misses a snooker. He hasn't hit it. He may have got the snooker, but very easy to hit from there. That was a good chance. And it was a long way off, actually. Well, got another chance here. Again, well short of getting in behind the black. And a chance now for Chris Wakeling to put this frame to bed.
We've talked at length, and indeed so has Chris Wakeling this week, about his prowess into the centres, and that's an important one to seal the deal in frame 4 of the final. And what an absorbing start to the title match it's been. We've seen a wonderful century from Chang Bing-yu. We've seen a couple of awkward frames, but 2 very good breaks. Now, hang on. He doesn't want this in. He doesn't want this in. Oh, my goodness me.
Oh.
And a free ball as well.
7.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Free ball.
He can't believe it.
A look of sheer horror on Chris Wakelin's face. Free ball, so the pink counts as an extra blue.
Yeah, it's 1 snooker to tie if this goes in.
Ping ball.
Well, this could change the whole tournament. Chris Wakelin, if he should lose it, he might try and send the blue down the table using the jaws of the pocket and leave the cue ball behind the black. That's an option. I'd have liked to have been further down the table with the cue ball and just punching the cue ball in behind the black. But this is a possibility. Just like that. I think it may have just come out, but it's still in this game all of a sudden.
One snooker required to tie when the frame was effectively over before Wakelin saw that black hit the jaw, run into the yellow pocket and leave a free ball. This game is crazy and will drive you crazy. This is close.
Now, will Chang pop the blue and have 1 snooker to win on the pink? Or will he play for the 1 snooker to tie and have more balls on the table? Again, shorter pace. A lot of players would have potted the blue there. Played 1 snooker to win.
It's a marathon frame, very nearly 39 minutes old now. Chris Wakelin was home and hosed a couple of minutes ago. Still favourite, but not out of the woods yet. Yeah, is he shorter pace again? I think he's just
short of pace. Well, he's got the snooker, but another half a ball and it would have been difficult. I think he can get to it off one cushion.
Wakelin, I think, is still trying to come to terms with how this frame has become difficult for him. It would be a crushing blow to lose it, but Chang still needs a snooker to tie.
Another chance. Chang's already showed that he's no intentions of potting the blue.
Yes.
I just think when you hit the ball that hard, you know, it could go anywhere and it could knock a ball in. This is close. It's close. Shouldn't miss this off two cushions. But you just never know.
One of the longer frames of the week. A vital one now for Chris Wakelin to put to bed, which he appeared to have done before the black went in and he left a free ball. Well, pushing the pink there makes snookers a little bit easier for Chang. If he can get her out of this shot. Another good attempt. We've had drama at this tournament in the past with snookers. You'll recall Zhou Yulong celebrating victory in the semi-finals against Gary Wilson, who needed two and got them and potted the respotted black and won the tournament.
Again, it's close. It's close. Yeah, it's a snooker, but again, not too difficult to hit off one cushion.
The longer that blue stays on the table, though, the more concerned Chris Wakelin will be that there's going to be a nasty sting in the tail for him in this fourth frame.
Well, a mistake.
And Chang Bingyu has conceded. So a marathon frame to get us to the first mini session. By and large, it's been a very entertaining start to the Scottish Open final, highlighted by the 107 break from Chang Bingyu, but it's level pegging, 2 each.
Chris Wakelin to break.
So we're back underway, absorbing stuff thus far, and Chris Wakelin in the end mightily relieved to be level at 2-all. There was just a danger that that fourth frame, incredibly, could get away from him after he inadvertently potted the black off the left centre jaw and left a free ball for Chang Bingyu. He only needed the one snooker to get back into it. Happily for Wakelin, he couldn't get it. So 2 each. Chang, of course, having made that sparkling 107 break with one of the long pots of the week to launch it. And in between times, Wakelin making breaks of 73 and 66 to tie it up at 2 each, with 4 more to come this afternoon.
Yeah, the break-off has to be better from Chris Wakelin. There was a chance there for Chang.
That average frame time risen significantly by the length of the fourth frame, which was nearly 47 minutes. The others were pretty sprightly, including an even 10 minutes for the frame that Chang made the century in.
Big shot. Oh, and a great shot. And that little kiss on the red may have held that cue ball up on the yellow. Yeah, without that kiss, you see, the cue ball would have been in the balk area. So that little kiss really favoured Chang Bingyu there. And he could come down for that red by the black. Doesn't have to, but that's the red I'd be playing for. Great pot. But that flick did him a great favour. I think he can get to the red directly above the black. If he plays this with a lot of right-hand side on the cue ball, it will draw it away from the red nearest the black cushion. Just a little heavy.
9.
Now, will he play this right-handed? Tricky shot, this.
He's got himself up to 62 in the world rankings in getting to this final. Remember, that's just this season's points, having returned to the tour at the start of this campaign. And if he wins this title, he'll catapult himself up to 43rd place above former world champion Luca Brissell.
Well, this time surely he'll come down for the red closest to the right corner and free the black into both pockets. It was a decent safety from Chris Wakelin. But Chang knocked in
16.
Another good long red. Lovely little cannon to stay on the red. This is the red that he knocked in. That little flick on the red there stopped the cue ball going into the baulk area. Oh, attacking shot here.
24.
Oh, he didn't get enough into the cue ball. That could have been a winning shot, but didn't get enough screw. So surely he'll play the safety. Wasted chance.
Chang Bing-Yu, 24.
But I think the right shot to play, the safety, rather than attempt the black. Keep the pressure on Chris Wakelin. Oh, wow. He hasn't left anything easy. That's the only thing I can say. He has left a chance, but it's not an easy one. Could have been a lot easier.
Chang's long game has certainly been the better of the two so far. That's 3 out of 8 from distance now for Wakelin, 5 out of 6 from Chang.
Pressure on this one, though. Yeah, there was pressure on it. So that mistake from Chris Wakelin, he's going to benefit from it. Just feeling the pressure, I feel a little Chang Ming-Yu.
1.
He was going well in the 4th frame, wasn't he, and missed that red somewhat surprisingly to the left corner, and that allowed Wakelin back into the frame, which eventually, and it took rather longer than he would have liked for comfort, he clinched.
He's just not punishing, is he, like he did? He had a good chance in this frame when he screwed into the reds. Just got to keep running. I don't think he's on anything.
6.
Nothing easy anyway. This is where he really has to make Chang pay for that mistake, that missed red to the baulk corner. Yeah, good recovery. And a good kiss. That's a frame-winning kiss, that. Very good pot.
14.
I actually think Chris Wakeland's playing the better of the two at the moment.
$15.
He has the advantage of experience of big finals, of course, having been in a couple of them, shootout aside. He says he learnt a lot from his defeats to Trump at the Northern Ireland Open, Ding last season, in China at the International Championship.
22.
Chang, of course, had never been past the round of 16 in a ranking event before this week.
$23. $28. $29.
The only problem I can see is the two reds by the pink, but even there, not really a problem. One of the reds will go to the pocket. And as I said earlier, I think
46.
Chris is playing better of the two at the moment. He's taking his chances. He's made the more
57.
bigger breaks. Chang's had the 107 in the third frame, but Chris has had 3 breaks over 50 with this. Needs to keep running.
$44.
Chang had the initial chance, lost position, and then missed a long red to the yellow pocket.
$45.
Yeah, that's the red that Philip's talking about, but he had a chance before that. Much easier one. Potting a red and screwing out of the pack, he left it well short.
He's a very measured cueist, Chris Wakeland. He plays at a very nice pace, nothing hurried about him,
51.
but very dangerous when he gets going. He can score heavily,
52.
and he has that self-belief that you require if you're going to prevail, particularly in this modern era with so many great players around. And all of that stemmed from the shootout. Wouldn't have had that belief prior to that tournament, which of course is unconventional.
Well, he's overhit that one. He should never have been so close to the cushion.
59.
And he's not safe yet. Needs this red.
$60.
He's safe now.
Well, you can only imagine how many pieces Chris Wakeland would have been in if he'd lost that full frame in the end, which
66.
there was some danger of happening, but happily for him, it wasn't to be. Got him level, and now he's got himself in front.
67.
Yeah, see, not interested in making the century. Could have played for the pink
69.
of the last red. Just wants to get them all.
71.
And let Chang see how well he's playing. Chang's going to have to up his game when he's getting chances.
74.
He's not scoring like he did. Like I say, he's only had that 107 break, whereas Chris Wakelin has made a 73, 66,
78.
and this, whatever it's going to finish at.
The key to these big finals is to give yourself
83.
the opportunity when you come back for the concluding session. And Wakelin is doing that.
89.
He's nudged in front with 3 more still to play in session 1. An excellent punishing break from Chris Wakelin of 96. A clearance to punish Chang Bingyu's misread to the yellow pocket. Wakelin now in front, 3 frames to 2. These two players bringing the curtain down on another calendar year of snooker. That is the glittering prize at the end of the day, the Stephen Hendry Trophy. Chang Bingyu now playing catch-up at 3-2 down with 3 more frames to come in this first session. 9 the target to walk away with the prize. And it was a very controlled, cool break. A clearance of 96 from Chris Wakelin. Chang had a couple of chances in the frame. Initially ran out of position, then missed the red after Wakelin had made a hash of a long-range red, which he hit way too thick into the yellow pocket. That allowed this man in to get himself in front.
Oh, wonderful shot. Terrific shot from Chris Wakelin. Kind of forced into taking it on because he looked at the safety. Yeah, Chang made a century break in frame 3 and was in amongst the reds in frame 4 and missed a red to the left corner. And things haven't gone right for him since. He's had chances, he's knocked in long balls, but he hasn't scored like he has been doing.
9.
Yeah, something to think about.
Came into this final in the novel position of being favourite. 2-1 on, in fact. Which is remarkable in itself when you consider that ahead of the Mark Selby game he was 14-1.
16.
And of course has never been past the round of 16 in a ranking event before this week.
Yeah, Chris going into the reds there, opening more reds into play. And he's done enough there.
17.
His highest break tournament players, a 144 that he made in 2018, Paul Hunter Classic. Four reds, 4 blacks. 3 reds, 3 blacks. The 4th coming up.
He's made 3 centuries this week, the top break being 108, but as mentioned earlier, he was eyeing history at one stage against Zhou Yulong, possibility of a break over 150 with the extra red, and he was gutted not to do it.
32.
Yeah, Chris, back in the top 16 again. Not soon enough for the Masters, mind, but he'll feel good about being there. And very important he stays there for the World Championship, doesn't have to qualify then.
$40. 41.
Yeah, and that little nudge has allowed the red to go into the right corner, the one above and to the left of the black. Also has the angle to play for the one near the right side cushion. You can also go into them. That's so unfortunate because he went into them with real pace here.
48.
I don't think he's on anything. Very, very unfortunate. If he's on one there, it looks like it would have been end of frame the way that he's playing and seeing them. Can he see enough of that? I think he'd have played it by now if he could. Well, looking at it from there, he might just be able to pot it.
Something about this shot Wakelin is not comfortable with. Of course, he's a long way from clinching the frame at the moment, but he's certainly got all the momentum right now. He is looking the stronger of the two at this stage of the final, and he wants to hammer home that advantage while he can. Get himself two in front, guarantee himself no worse than parity at the end of this opening session.
Yeah, it looks like he could get it. And now still on the maximum.
$56. 57.
Is he hard enough to get back to the black?
64.
Difficult to tell from here. No, it doesn't look like it. So I've got to make sure of the frame. Big frame this. If we can take a two-frame lead, got to play down for the blue.
65.
Yeah, a little shake of the head, perhaps reflective of the disappointment in not being able to stay on the black, but clearly, by far and away, the most important thing is a 4-2 lead.
$70.
So, frame ball red. No. Very unusual for Chris to miss one to the middle.
What a time for that to happen. The only ball he needed to get some Clear daylight between himself and his opponent. Hangs his head in frustration. Very rare that you make a 70 break and lose a frame, but there's obviously enough there for Chang. That pot success has dipped quite significantly, though, in the last couple of frames or so for Chang. It was in the 90s, now down to 88. In fact, Wakelin has overtaken him in that department at 89. Definitely a momentum shift since the interval in Wakelin's favour.
He's found one, and that's a great find as well. And that should seal the 6th frame. He played it.
One snooker to tie as things stand, and given what happened at the end of the 4th frame, Wakelin won't be counting his chickens as yet.
No, he could push the black safe. He could attempt to pot the black. He could play the snooker in behind the black. There's a few shots he could play. Which one will he choose? Black safe. Wise shot to play, I think.
Here's Wakelin 1.
So for the first time in a long time this week in Edinburgh, Chang Bing-Yu is on the back foot. How's he going to respond?
Well, had the red gone in, it would have been 2 snookers.
It's an incredibly tall order for Chang Bing-Yu. Yes, 1 snooker to tie, but of course that assumes reds with blacks. The black is tied up, the reds are awkward.
Yeah, same. Whoa. Cue ball going towards that port corner. Yeah, good attempt. Not quite a snooker. Oh, he's close again. Wow, shouldn't have been anywhere near that. The red would go. I don't think he looked to see if it would go.
It's a long road back for sure for Chang, but just needs to recalibrate a little. Looking likely to lose his third frame in a row, and he has had opportunities that haven't been taken for once.
Yeah, to be fair, didn't get one in this frame, did he? Because Chris Wakelin knocked in that long red. Beautiful red. Just stroked it in from close to the baulk cushion. This is red I'm talking about. Look at this. Dead under the cushion. Stroked it in. Made 71 from it.
It feels like this passage of play is delaying the inevitable in this frame. It's very hard to see Chang turning this his way. You never know in this sport, of course. We saw a potentially extraordinary turnaround in the fourth frame, but extremely long odds to do so. If Wakelin can find one more red, it's certainly over, and it's 4-2. But that red at the moment proving elusive.
This red to the middle will lead him to the black. But it's a very tough red to take on. So tough, he's not playing it. And he has got a chance here. Chris Wakelin. Red goes in, it's over. Yeah, not anywhere near it now.
The brilliant red he got in initially to take control of this frame is very much the exception to the rule, actually, for Wakelin today from distance. 4 out of 12 now. But very much on top in this match right now.
Bringing the black into play, and that helps his cause. Although he's a little unfortunate that it only goes to the corners. Yeah, trying to push the black to the cushion, but not quite. In fact, the black there has probably helped Chang Bingyu, being a left-handed player. Now, is it an all or nothing shot? He's considering it.
If Wakelin pots another red, then Chang would need 4 snookers, and I'm sure there'd be a concession, but this is quite a lengthy standoff. The frame seemingly killed off quite a long time ago when Wakelin potted the extra red, having made the break of 70.
Has he got away with it? I think he has. Well, that's thrown a different light on things. He can pot the red, but there's pressure on it for sure. He's going to be leaving the red on if he misses, but if the red goes in, it's 4-2. And it's in. Relief for Chris Wakelin.
It always looked like a long shot for Chang Bingyu to turn this frame around, and it's proved so to be. And now he's got to dig deep, because the next 2 frames are very important for the 23-year-old to ensure he stays well in contention come the end of this first session. He needs both to get out of it unscathed. Chris Wakelin now leading 4-2. So he can't be worse than level, but now, of course, he has eyes on a significant lead going into the deciding session tonight. Chang Bingyu needs a response. He's lost his way a little since leading 2-1. He was in charge of frame 4, missed one, and since then, he's been on the back foot.
Yeah, and the long pots get more difficult when you're behind. Well, I'm surprised he took that on. The last thing you want to be doing is giving Chang an easy chance to get back in. I know he's a great middle pocket player, but I don't know. Not sure about that one. The black available to the right corner. It was a tough red to the middle, guaranteed to be leaving a red on if he missed it. Of course, had it gone in, we'd be saying, terrific shot.
And this is the chance that Chang needs to get his cue arm going again, re-establish himself in this final.
One.
Well, that's fortunate. Holds his hand up. Played to come round the back of that. That was a poor shot from Chang Bingyu. And this isn't easy, this black to the corner, but it does give him a chance. He's struggling. You can see it in his body language.
He could easily have snookered himself on all colours there.
Good pot. Very good pot under the circumstances into a blind pocket.
That lucky nudge might prove to be very significant come the end of today for Chang Bing-yu. Would have expected to be out of position straight away in the event.
Thank you. 8.
A chance to carve out something substantial.
All these shots now, though, Philip, are difficult.
Yeah, he's struggling all right.
8.
Wakelin's putting him under pressure with the quality of his snooker. 3 frames in a row, and those pockets are looking a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it all started going wrong for Chang in frame 4. We're a long way off. And cue ball.
Oh,
Well,
Chang Bing-yu.
he keeps handing chances to Chang.
Yeah, his long game, with the exception of the red he got in the previous frame, has been absent without leave so far for Wakelin today. But Chang has seriously lost his way.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, missing easy shots like this is not going to do anything for his confidence, is it? And he wants to punish. Chris Wakelin, he wants to punish. And he knows the significance of punishing. And that in itself adds to the pressure.
Absolutely. He'll feel now that he has to get a first session lead. He's on top. He's got to make it count.
Good pot.
1.
Good pot. And he's in.
Seven.
This is the shot, Joe, that has turned this first session around.
Yeah, because he just knocked in a 107 break the previous frame. He was going really well and then missed that, I won't say easy shot, but since he's missed that shot, things haven't gone well for Chang Bing-yu. Now Chris could decide to go into the reds here. There are reds that he could play for. But I think he's sensed something. And he's on one. Not easy, but he is on one.
13.
Not for the first time in this final. The balls aren't great. The high value colours at the moment a bit awkward.
Okay. 14.
Yeah, not easy by any stretch to make something substantial from this, given the state of the table at present.
Yeah, good positional shot that. So easy to overscrew that or underscrew it, but he's finished absolutely spot on. Very good. The red just above the pink will go to the right corner. Is he thinking of maybe disturbing them? Oh, he didn't want that first kiss. And this red now just above the pink is difficult from where he is, especially if the cue ball's going into the red on the right side cushion. And that's why he's not taking it on. He's keeping it tight with Chang Bing-yu, and I don't blame him. Making earnest chance. Hasn't been doing that so far.
There was a stage of this final when Chang was 100 points ahead of Chris Wakelin. He's now, near as damn it, 100 behind. Wakelin's made 4 sizable breaks to just 1 from Chang.
Yeah, maybe a half chance here. The red to the right corner with safety in mind. Just goes. Well, round of applause, but he may have left a red to the right corner. Real thin cut. If not, then it's an easy safety to try and get in behind the yellow. Oh, there you can see it does go.
1.
Yeah, things just not going Chang Bing-yu's way. He needs some help from Chris Wakelin. And maybe that's the help he's been looking for.
Chris Wakelin 1.
I'm not sure if he's left a red on because he's blocked the pocket with the black.
He was never comfortable with that shot, was he? I think Wakelin is right now from his side, feeling the pressure of needing to convert his superiority into a sizable scoreboard lead come the end of this session.
First chance that Chang's had for quite a while. Decent chance, that is. And the balls are not that easy. He was tentative on that shot.
Eight.
He needed another at least 6 inches, 9 inches in pace.
Nine.
That 107 break aside, nothing better than 35 from Chang in this final to date. Of course, he's been knocking in centuries for fun in this tournament, 11 of them, one off the record in a home nations, jointly held by Ronnie O'Sullivan and Neil Robertson.
Well, I don't know where the next red's coming from. May have to take the blue or the yellow. The red behind the pink is probably the only one that he could play for. Good attempt to try and get on it.
15.
But at least he hasn't missed.
I bring you 15.
Yeah, it's awkward again for Chang. The red on the right side cushion, stopping the return safety. Good pace. Gets him out of trouble, that shot. But every chance of trying to get in behind the brown here. Another good safety. That's pretty good. Now just got to be careful he doesn't push a red over the right corner here. And that's what he's done. But I think it's just a little bit too thin to take on. Caught it too thin. This isn't too thin to take on. This is a chance. That will do nicely. And that good kiss on the black has left him with a great chance.
Eight.
Yeah, a little shorter pace there. This red more difficult. Using the rest. Good pot. Excellent pot. He's certainly playing the cooler of the two players now. Chris Wakelin has done for 2 or 3 frames.
At the moment, he's bringing his much greater big match experience to bear. Often the frames have become a little awkward, but Wakelin, nevertheless, has been able to carve out good breaks, 73, 66, 96, 70 in the previous frame.
13.
And a 5-2 lead would be a very healthy one. That would put enormous pressure on Chang to deliver in the last of the session.
Another big shot. Well played.
Twenty.
2 reds, 2 blacks, and Chang could only tie.
$21.
Oh, it's going to be difficult to get to the black from there.
28.
Not impossible. Difficult. Looks at the score, 27 points. And the lead. Oh, where's it going to finish? Well, I don't know. Is it cuttable? I think it is, but it's a tough shot with the long stuff.
Yeah.
These pockets certainly haven't been generous this week, and playing at that pace, your accuracy has to be bang on.
As is always the case, though, when you need the points, the table's difficult. And that red on the right side cushion and this red that is taking on, both difficult. What has he got left in the tank? There goes the red. Oh, but not a good kiss. He's pushed the blue safe. And he's not on a colour. Yes, he can play the snooker, but
1.
he'd have liked to have been on a colour. Got to get this tight to the brown. That's tight.
1.
That is tight. So still in this game, Chang Bing-Yu.
Wakelin will certainly be pleased to have seen that blue drift to the cushion just now. What a big frame this has become. Chang could yet emerge from this session. Level at 4 all equally. Wakelin could be 4 clear, so all things still possible in what's left of this first half of the Scottish Open final.
Yeah, the yellow looks to be in the way of coming off the baulk cushion. So twice across the table.
Oh, I miss. Champion you 4. Aye. Is that one, Chris? Yeah. Champion you, thanks.
It's a great effort, a great effort. And he's got it safe as well. Things going Chris Wakelin's way. But a chance to get in behind the brown again, or the yellow. What a great escape that was. Just below the middle pocket. Got to make sure of that red. Red behind the pink. Or the black. It's not bad. He's got him. It's another good one. Oh, so easy to leave a free ball here if he plays it at pace. If he plays it slow and hits it, he's going to be in trouble next shot.
Oh, I miss. Champion you 4. Free ball. Aye.
Well, he set back pretty quickly there. I think I'd have been tempted to bring the blue into play.
Another lengthy frame that's heading towards the half-hour mark.
Yeah. Let me just check it myself.
Marcel Eckhart is the marker for this final.
Sorry.
Towards you. Yeah, and
How did he get round the back of the red? Incredible.
Okay. Yeah, champion you. Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Same shot. And what a result. What a result. He's got the snooker. Well, maybe he hasn't got the snooker.
Pretty tense stuff as we head towards the end of this first session. And it's a session that's still, to some degree, in the balance. Yes, Chris Wakelin is 4-2 up, but in no time he could find himself level at 4-all, and that would be a disappointment for him, given that he's bossed proceedings since the interval.
Well, he'll settle for that. This isn't easy to get safe. He could try and bring the blue into play and send the red up and down towards the black. He's pushed the yellow safe now, or safer. It's close, it's close. He's got him. He's got him. Great shot, that, from Chris Wakelin. Although it's a good job he has got him because he sent the red over the pocket. And
Wakelin's lead is 18. There are still 35 left.
yeah, Chris needs the yellow now. But it does favour a right-handed player where the yellow is. Great shot again. And I've got a feeling that he's going to be in big trouble. Chang Bing-Yu, he could play the pot on the pink. He'd still need the yellow.
A very timely long pot found for Wakelin. That has not been his strong suit today. But getting ever closer to forging a very handy 5-2 lead in this final.
Yeah, that's a good shot to play because he's got the pink safer where it is. And the onus now on Chang Bing-Yu to hit this and get it safe. How does he do this? He's hit the yellow, but the cue ball. Oh. And that is a disaster for Chang Bing-Yu.
Yeah, Wakelin only needs the yellow and the green to make it 4 frames on the bounce. It's been another battle this frame. A lot of the snooker has been this afternoon. But Wakelin has very much held sway since he trailed 2-1. And he's a couple of pots away from a very strong position in this final. Guaranteed no worse than a 2-frame lead if he deposits them.
2.
Not a pretty frame, but a very big one for Chris Wakelin to win, and a rather worrying one for Chan Bing-Liu to lose.
9.
He's going to need to summon the blood for the last of the session. 5-3, eminently retrievable. 6-2, a very tall order.
Chris Wakelin, 9. Yeah, and the frame.
Chang Bing-Yu concedes the frame. Chris Wakelin tightening his grip on this Scottish Open final in his bid for a big major title. He leads 5-2 to the left corner at 2-1 when he was on top, having made a sparkling 107, but that's proved to be something of a false dawn because he struggled since then He's missed a few that we haven't seen from him this week when he has played so well, and he's got to somehow get this frame and regroup ahead of the finale tonight. Big frame.
Good cue ball, otherwise this red to the left corner would have been on. Another good speed on the cue ball because he has left the red to the left corner. But because the black is tied up, makes it difficult to take this red on. Be a brave man to play it and play back down for the blue. Guaranteed to leave reds on if he played it and missed it.
Very much unfamiliar territory this week for Chang, being in trouble. By and large, he's been dictating his matches as he did last night against Mark Allen. Now he needs to salvage the session by finding a way to win this frame. 5-3, and he's certainly still in the picture. But 6-2 would be a big ask. Wakelin would be within 3 of the title.
Well, if the red goes to the middle, it could be worth a go. He's got to make sure he doesn't leave the red. That's near the yellow pocket, of course. And there you can see it does go to the middle pocket, but very risky shot. Not worth the risk, especially when you're 5-2 down. Chris Wakelin quite happy to wait. Very risky shot to play if he hasn't covered the red to the baulk corner. Fractions if it goes in, chance of winning. But he's left the easier red. Very unfortunate for that red to have hit the middle pocket bump and come back down the table and left it, but that's what's been happening for Chang.
It's an occupational hazard, isn't it? With a double, if you do miss, you're trusting to luck as to where the ball ends up. Not well for Chang Bingyu.
He didn't cover the red over the baulk corner though either, so it wasn't a good shot to play. A lack of patience.
So this is a chance for Chris Wakelin to really nail down this first session and put himself in a glorious position to lift the biggest title of his career. The shootout was great. It was a game changer for him in terms of his belief, his confidence, his bank balance, his points tally. But to win the Stephen Hendry Trophy, well, that would be a different proposition altogether. Would take his career to new heights. The perfect end to the year if he can make it happen.
Yes, they take his belief to new heights as well.
Yeah. 9. Thank you. 10. Fourteen.
Taking the more difficult red, which leads him to the black. And the red just above the black. It will go to the left corner.
22.
And he might be able to open more reds if he plays that red.
$23.
He may decide to go into that cluster of reds. If he leaves a nice angle on the blue.
28.
I'm surprised he played down for the black. The blue looked absolutely perfect to go into the reds from.
29.
I'm not sure if he can get to a red from there. I think he's fairly straight on the black. No, he can just about. Could just about get there. And that is just where he wanted to be. Now, if you can pop this and open more reds
46.
up, might be able to win the frame at one visit. superb shot. Just overscrewed it slightly. So the first big pressure shot in this little break. Got to get it, otherwise they're all there for Chang. He's got it. Great shot. I don't think he's feeling the pressure at all at the moment. He's just enjoying himself out there.
44.
And that's what he said he was going to do. Before this final, I'm going to enjoy it, he said. Well, he's playing like he's enjoying it.
45.
Just overhit it slightly. Still should pop the black, but it would have been unmissable, 6 inches slower. Doesn't look like missing.
It's another cool pot, wasn't it? And that has been typical of Wakelin in this final. He's been cool under pressure.
53.
He's taken his chances very well. He's made 5 50-plus breaks to just 1 from Chang. And he's hoping this one will carry him to a commanding 4-frame lead.
Yeah, to be fair, he's been helped by Chang Bing-yu. He hasn't played, apart from that century, hasn't played since he missed that red in the 4th frame, when he played the pink and checked the cue ball back down the table, finished awkward. He hasn't been the same since.
61.
But full credit to Chris Wakelin. He's applied the pressure and kept it applied, played good safety, like he did in this frame, rolling into the pack, frustrating Chang Bing-yu, forcing him to take that double on. And this red.
66.
And he's going to take a 4-frame lead into tonight's final session. Oh, he's missed it though. Incredibly, he's missed it. So 67 left on the table. How important will that be if he should lose this frame?
A heavenward glance, maybe just a bit of tightness in the arm, knowing that was the ball that would carry him to a very, very strong position in this final. Will it prove significant? What has Chang got left? A long way off with that one. Yeah, a shake of the head.
Yeah, he just hasn't played this afternoon, I'm afraid. Not like he has been doing anyway.
Shades of last year's final when Wu Yize, as Chang is today, was the favourite to beat Lei Pei Fan. And didn't really show up in the event. Fell 4-0 behind and never recovered. Of course, Chang was 2-1 up this afternoon, and having knocked in that century, you thought, here we go again, but it's proved not to be so far. He's on the precipice in this frame. Wakelin on the cusp of a big lead. There's no room to manoeuvre at all here for Chang. He needs blacks with the remaining 5 reds to win by a single point. 2 of them are awkward on the side cushion at present. Nothing to go at here.
Well, he showed us all week how easy a game this can be. Now he's showing us just how difficult this game can be. It looks like his only shot is to try and play in behind the black, but he leaves the red to the middle, which I'm sure Chris Wakelin will take.
You switch that off, or at least on silent.
His mum, understandably looking a little anxious, hoping he can conjure some magic to steal this frame and get himself back in the final.
Yeah, he didn't really want to play that shot. Wakelin doesn't have to take the red on. Could push it to the cushion. Yeah, great shot. And that's why Chang Bing-Yu took so long over the shot, because he knew he was leaving that on. And that ensures Chris Wakelin is going to lead 6-2.
Chris Wakelin, 1.
2 snookers to tie then. And that's the end of the session. Chris Wakelin is in sight of the Stephen Hendry Trophy. He's bossed proceedings from 2-1 down with 5 straight frames. Chang, a century aside, has struggled to rediscover the brilliance that got him to the final. Wakelin, as a result, well in charge. He leads at halfway, 6-2.
The high-quality snooker that's got him here, that saw him beat the likes of Karen Wilson, Mark Selby and Mark Allen. There is still time. It has to start, though, in this mini-session. I'm sure the crowd here in Edinburgh would love to see a close one. Remember, the first 2 Home Nations finals of the season both went the distance, the English and Northern Ireland Opens. Of course, Chang did have a century in frame 3, but hasn't won a frame since then. And his game did go off the boil. He's had a couple of hours to collect his thoughts, Neil, and let's see how the final night unfolds.
Yes, very interesting session. I mean, I didn't see it quite going that way. Most people didn't. Maybe a different dynamic for Chang Bing-Yu coming into this match as the favourite, having beaten a lot of players he would have been second favourite to beat. But that's what he's going to have to put up with throughout his career. It is a 2-session match, first to 9, so he's got time, but 6-2 is a healthy lead for Wakelin. There's no getting away from it. And Chang Bing-Yu fell away in some of those lengthy frames towards the end of the session. But I would be surprised if it was a very convincing one-sided victory. I figure that Chang is going to play some terrific snooker tonight. I feel he will come back. Whether he comes back to win, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, it's the beauty of the longer matches, isn't it? It's one match, but it's 2 sessions. And if they'd have stayed out there, I think it would have been a very heavy defeat because he was struggling, but he's had time to just get out of there, gather his thoughts. Chris Wakelin's also had time to contemplate being 6-2 up. This would be the biggest night of his career if he were to win here this evening. So, yes, he's in a good position, but the pressure's on to get to 9.
I mean, Wakelin's played some good stuff this weekend, hasn't he? I thought he was very good yesterday against Matt Selt, very positive. I thought the scoreline, it got very close, considering he looked the better player for the most part, in my opinion. And he's come out and remained positive today. I mean, if this was 5-3 Wakelin, then I think you say, wow, this is humdinger from here. But the fact that he's 4 up, it's got to stand him in good stead, you would feel. But the early exchanges will mean a lot. He's playing off the bunch here. He's got to be careful. The red on the left, either not to hit it on the way back or protect it. He's gone thick off the bunch. Quite an attacking shot. Got to pick himself up, Chang Bing-yu. Show character, because he didn't have a good session. There's no getting away from it. It was a huge contrast to what we saw only against Mark Selby, but especially last night. He was pretty sensational last night, I thought, against Mark Allen. But today is a different day. It's a final. Interesting red to go for of the two. I thought the other red, the right-hand red of the two, looked the easier potting option. Tricky angle that, just coming across with the cue ball to the side cushion. Nienoff was pretty close here. He must have been aware of that. Good pot. I think he's a player, Wakelin, who's looked and worked hard at the mental side of his game. I'm not sure how strong he was mentally around 5 or 6 years ago. A few matches I can think of. But he seems to have done a lot to improve that side of his game. He's always been a good player.
Yeah, I mean, he was as high as 13 earlier this year. Then he just slipped out the top 16 at the wrong time. Cut off of the UK Championship, so he had to go to qualifying. He didn't qualify, so he won't be at the Masters, regardless of what happens tonight, even though we'll be back in the top 16.
Yes, I mean, he's been in the 16 at the wrong times this season, or out of it at the wrong times, hasn't he, as you're saying? But I suppose winning here suggests he'll be a seed at the Crucible. It'll certainly go a long way to that, won't it?
Well, real stretch here.
Six.
Well, that's in between about 2 or 3 different shots. He's finished nowhere, really. Ah, great shot. Great shot. Difficult, but still awkward on his next red.
Twelve.
I tell you, if he's not on a red here, he's desperately unlucky. It could be that something goes to the left corner, but it's all a bit at close quarters, this, isn't it? Not a particularly nice shot that we have to play.
13.
Already looking at playing the pink with a route up and down the table, I think. He looked into bulk and seeing if he could weave the cue ball around the angles without hitting anything. Back for a red. Now he's onto the blue, which is more straightforward, but positionally, but not as a pot.
Well, it's some 18 break, this, isn't it, already? Just has this air of calm, doesn't he, about him, Chris Wakelin. We saw it at the Crucible when he beat Mark Allen. Although against Neil Robertson, of course, he was a long way in front there, 7-2, and that did get a little bit sticky. He won 10-8 in the first round. If he does win tonight, he'll be the 43rd player to have won multiple ranking titles. Of course, his first win was the shootout in 2023. This is a very different event, of course. He's also been runner-up in the Northern Ireland Open to Judd Trump, where he did struggle a little bit like Chang. You know, first big final, struggled and never really caught up, lost 9-3. And then the International Championship last year, Ding beat him in China.
$24. $25.
Well, this really is an excellent break already. I mean, look at the reds all strewn everywhere, but he's carved away at this break. It's a pretty valuable one. 31.
31.
Not the start Chang Bing-Yu wanted. He missed that red, which was not easy. I think he took the more difficult of the two.
Up to 2.
But from here, you'd think it's going to get even more difficult for Wakelin. This is the shot. The right-hand red, for me, is an easier pot. Played the left-hand one as we looked because he'd have got on the black. It was a positive shot, but I think it was tricky. Two reds might be a plant there, as you could see. They're going to have to be a plant because he had no other shot, really.
$38.
So basically, it's almost as if he's potting the first red, but thinner than the natural potting angle. That's the way he would line this up.
Well, building a useful lead, albeit running out of reds out in the Open. But this is exactly what he wanted first frame, just to get back to the table after the couple of hours break and get potting again.
I mean, when you've got a lead of what he's got here, 44, and maybe another red colour on, you think, well, I hope I've got a ball on a cushion. Well, you've got 7 reds on the cushion. So he's got a lot going for him. So this makes this break even more valuable.
$45.
Though he tried to shift something off of the cushion now to continue the break. I think the 2 reds on the back cushion on the right, the 2 reds that he's aiming for, in between the 2, I think he tried for. It's a rare, not very good shot.
50.
But the double, I think it's worth a go at.
Chris Wakelin, 50.
Well, that 50 does deserve applause. It was worth about 120, I should think.
Well, what a pot. Bearing in mind some of the balls he missed this afternoon. Well, if he wins the frame from here, Chang, you should give him the trophy now. But that's a good start.
Yes, he's going to have to do some serious knocking out of reds from somewhere. What he's got to do here, he's got to try and, in playing safe, set the frame up for clearance. Just gradually ease the reds into play. And obviously, he'll take one red out here into the middle of the table, but he wants to hide him behind the green. Looks a good shot, this. Well, that's a start, and he's got a long way to go, but that was a promising beginning in his way. I hope to claw his way back into this frame. And he can take another red out here now because he's playing the roll-up. That he should have been able to. But he can't get to that right-hand red on the cushion, so it was well escaped.
Well, in missing that, he's just nudged another red out. So the table a little bit more open, certainly, than it was, which favours Chang. The 16th Chinese player to reach a ranking final. Looking to be the 10th winner, of course, this year. Zhao Xingtong, Xiao Guidong, Wu Yize, all won ranking titles.
Well, maybe the reds are more in play now, but that, for the wrong player as far as Chang Bingyu is concerned. Wakelin with a chance to get the frame one here. 3 reds in play.
One.
Yeah, so 48 in front. The 2 reds in open play are going to be sufficient for 7-2, barring snookers.
Four.
I think ever since 1982, Alex Higgins at the Crucible, beckoning his baby in tears on the stage, every player has wanted that moment, haven't they, where in that brief moment, and it might be brief, your professional and your personal life is all perfect. And Chris does have his 1-year-old daughter here, Mia. Whether we'll see her later, I can't say, but she's here with him and his partner, and it's going to be special for sure if he can win what looks now like the next 2 frames to become champion, because this one has surely gone
11.
his way.
Well, he's played a good frame, hasn't he? You know, this is just the kind of start he wanted. He didn't want an explosive beginning from Chang Bingyu. He's not so much taken the sting out of the session, but he just sort of worked this frame beautifully.
Yeah, and it was a very worrying time a year ago because Mia was born several weeks premature, so, you know, was in hospital, and this time last year Chris wasn't thinking about snooker. Far from it. But right now he's thinking about getting his hands on the Stephen Hendry Trophy, because he's won this frame and he only needs 2 more to be Scottish Open champion. A great start to the night for Wakelin. 7-2, getting closer. 3 years ago, Joe O'Connor struggled in his first final against Gary Wilson. Noppen Senkom did a year later. Last year, Wu Yize was off the pace against Lei Pei Fan. It can happen. Even before that, Ronnie O'Sullivan Lost 9-3 to Mark Selby. John Higgins was well beaten by Luca Brissell in the Scottish Open final. But Wakeling, he got in first, and it was a tough table. He had a good lead. Chang, OK, got in briefly, but it was going to be very hard to do much from where he was. And anyway, 7-2 down, and time's running out.
Well, that was a mistake, and a significant one. Time is running out. Dave is right, but it's a combination, really, isn't it, this match, of how well Wakeling has played and how far below the form of the last two rounds Bing Yu has played.
1.
He's not played well, but the match isn't over. What can he put together here? Pink to middle, not easy, not a lot of room in there. Well, that's a story of more frustration, isn't it? It's just not happening, is it? It's just not happening today. In the way he played. Mark Allen, I don't think he potted the ball for about the first hour of play last night, and Zhang Bingyi was just potting everything.
Well, it's a very different table to the last frame. This is a great chance for Wakeling.
1.
Zhang Bingyi has made 11 centuries in the tournament. That's equalled the record for the Scottish Open set by Marco Fu and equalled by Neil Robertson. But he has made one today, but other than that, it's been just very disappointing for him. It's the only match, isn't it, with a trophy on the line. It's a very different match to all the others he's played.
Eight. 9.
Not sure it's a final many would have predicted at the start of the week, but how do you predict snooker at the moment? It's going to be the 14th different ranking event winner in a row. The last 3 tournaments of last season, first 11 ranking tournaments of this season, all been won by different players. And the strange thing about that is Judd Trump's not on that list. Ronnie O'Sullivan's not on it. You know, there's some big names not on the list.
15. 16. 22. 23.
Yes, it's a very different table, as Dave was saying, to the previous one. The balls are in pretty good positions now. Yes, he looked at the blue, but the pink spot I think is free anyway. He might just nudge the reds here. Well, it's not perfect. You'd be fancying to be on something pretty simple at this stage from that shot. But he isn't really. I mean, there might be something to middle. That's a tricky one, this. Great shot. There was hardly any room through those two reds to get to the one he was playing. It almost came to his rescue, but what an accurately played shot that was.
He's just in this cocoon of concentration, isn't he? He looks superb. Obviously, being so far in front helps, but that's how he got so far in front. Yes, Chang struggled, but Chris Wakeland's had to pop the balls. If he wins tonight, he'll go up to number 7 on the one-year list, so that's going to get him in, you would think, all 3 Players' Series events, lucrative ranking events in the second half of the season.
48. $45. $46.
I think he played that quite well. The blue wasn't on its spot, but there's sometimes the feeling you just play on the blue as if it is on its spot. It's perfectly in behind it, gave it a bit extra.
$51.
Just looking at
52.
Chang Bingyu sitting there, I mean, you think, well, the way he pots, how are you going to keep him out? Well, one way is just to pot all the balls yourself. And that's what he's doing, really. And you always think, well, you've got to play immaculate safety. But he's taking it to the other extreme. He's just scoring.
59.
Yeah, the 7th half-century break he's made in this final.
$60.
Just looks completely comfortable. He'll need another red in addition to this next colour. And that'll be 8-2.
$67.
Well, that's Chang's mother in the audience. I'm sure she's aware this red is frame ball for Chris Wakeland. And it's not in.
Chris Wakeland, 67.
No, but he's not left it. That's the only good thing from Wakeland's point of view. Be a good frame to win, as they say. Just got to get the opportunity, hasn't he? The balls are good except for the one red, and he's kind of invited Wakeland to play that safe red here, given it's the one that he can see all of. I think he can also get to the red up above the pink, and he can hit the right side of it as we look. Wouldn't want to go in off and give a few points back here. Oh, well, what a shot that is. I mean, that's amazingly good, isn't it? He played it.
Chris Wakeland won.
No heroics, pushing the green to save 67 in front with 59 on.
Got to get it down to one red, hasn't he? Got to take reds and blacks with the other two. A very tall order to get back into this frame.
Eight.
Yeah, well, Sam, whatever happens here, and he seems likely to lose the final now, it's in general all positive for Chang, because, of course, he's on the first year of a 2-year card, so he's got no points coming off. So it'd be 62nd if he loses. If he were to come back and win, he'd be 43rd in the rankings, but he's just going to climb, you would think, as the season goes on.
17. Chang Bing-Yu, 24.
It's pretty good, actually. I mean, while I would expect Wakeling to hit this, he's got free ball possibilities. Should he miss, two cushion escape, you would think he'll hit it or hit the brown maybe at worst, and that would lessen the chance of the free ball. Never any doubt, was it? I don't think he went for that. I think he played a good shot there. It may have looked like it, but he had no reason to go for it. A few members of the audience thought he did. You can see the sort of Selby influences, can't you, in Wakeling's game? He's a very good player, but also he hasn't missed any snookers or looked like missing one. He just hits the ball on full ball, it seems to me, when he snookered. He was doing it earlier as well. I mean, there will be some snookers he can't hit, obviously. That's what Chang Bing-Yu is aiming to put him in. I think Wakeling could roll this red over the pocket if he wanted. You don't often see players do that, except for on the pink and black, but I think he'd be happy. It's invite Chang Bing-Yu to pot it if the red didn't go in. He's not doing that, though. Interesting that he refused the pot there.
Well, it doesn't help his cause, does it? He's in one himself now. So he's lost control a little bit of the exchange.
Well, just in behind yellow here, he couldn't get to the potting angle. Turning the screw, and that's what you have to do at this game.
Leo Scullin, of course, refereeing his last ever match. He's retiring as a referee after the final. We send our best wishes to Leo. Very friendly face on the circuit.
Oh,
Well,
Chris Wakeland, 4.
no, it just feels like mission impossible. And yeah, I think he's conceding, so it really is a long way back. He needed to make a good start to the evening. He hasn't done. Chris Wakeland's made breaks of 50 and 67 and is one away from the title at 8-2. And Chris Wakeland, a big favourite now to get his hands on the Stephen Hendry Trophy. I know a player he's looked up to, as everybody does, as everybody should. He's 8-2 up. He needs one more to defeat Chang Bing-Yu here in Edinburgh. I'm sure the crowd would love to see Chang make a rally here, at least try and get a couple, take it past the interval. But Wakeland is looking so solid, so focused as that red travels. So this may be a chance for Chang. Kind of wriggled in, didn't it? But he's gone in.
It's an amazing game, though, snooker, isn't it? I mean, he looked almost like he was never going to miss another ball in his life. Yesterday, the way he was playing, he was incredible. And today, nowhere near the same player in the face of very stern opposition. That'll do him. He'll be getting a lot of support here. He's made a lot of new fans, I think, his style of play, but also for this final to extend into the night a little further, there'll be a lot of people on his side.
7.
Yeah, of course, he had to start in the qualifiers, didn't he? In Wigan a couple of months ago, won 2 matches just to get here. And once he got here, he beat Stephen Maguire, Sergio Way, Kyron Wilson, Mark Selby and Mark Allen. You know, it was a very, very tough draw. And he was comfortably the best player in all those matches.
13.
Surely not. Is he on it? He was concerned. Well, is he? Well, we got there. The answer is he was on it, but he missed it. It was simple as that. There was no problem with it. It went. But he just didn't pot it.
So Chris Wakeland's first chance to win the tournament. What a feeling for him. Of course, missed out on York, didn't qualify for the UK Championship, won't be at the Masters, and in fact was ill last week, so his hopes weren't high for this event either. Pulled out the shootout. Very unusual for Chris to pull out of anything. You could tell all was not well, but it just shows you how things can turn around. Well, you heard the sort of sight. Doesn't look good, does it? Sort of buried in amongst the reds, the cue ball.
Touching ball.
No, not really. Now he wishes he could play the shot again, play it with a bit more pace and sort of try and move the reds away from each other, but easy afterwards. It's a huge lead, but if Chang Bingyu could win a few more frames or get a frame or two, it's still not impossible. It could get nervy, but right now it looks like plain sailing. Touching ball is what he had, which worked in his favour. Didn't have to hit a red.
Yeah, we saw the English Open final last year, didn't we? Neil Robertson was in this position, 8-2 up on Wu Yize, easily the better player at the time, and then Wu Yize just threw his arm at everything and got everything to 8-7. Unbelievable 5 frames, and Robertson got over the line, yes, but, you know, it can change, but it's going to have to change basically right here, right now in this frame. He's got to get in, he's got to stay in. He's been in once, of course, but broke down pretty quickly. And just caught them a little thick there, and this red is on, so, you know, that could be his last shot, depending on what happens here. Wakelin with another chance, chance number 2 in this frame.
Yeah, another good chance, another good pot, that.
Six. 7.
Well, he's got to go up the table here, but there are 2 reds that just go to the right corner, further down the line. There you see them.
15.
Well, as with all players, it's been a long journey for Chris Wakelin. He started playing at the age of 8. By 11, he was playing for one of his local league sides.
21.
Turned professional in 2013 when he was 21. And like most players early on, found it difficult. He had some good wins. He gradually improved. He stuck with it. Didn't lose heart at some of the beatings. Became a top 16 player. Of course, the shootout was massive for him. Just going away with a trophy of any sort. That was the big step forward he took. But this would be another one, wouldn't it, if he closed it out here to win a more traditional ranking event like this. And to have done it really in style. He's dominated this final.
He's already looking at the red up the table here, I think.
46.
The red up into the yellow pocket.
What a great feeling this must be in this very difficult sport.
44.
He doesn't expect to miss, does he? You can just tell.
$45.
I think the last few weeks in snooker have thrown up some terrific results, haven't they? I mean, obviously, we've had some big hitters win. You know, Mark Selby winning back-to-back events, but the story with, you know, Jack Lisowski winning and Ruiz winning his first major, Alfie Burden's shootout victory came out of nowhere. People thought Chang Bing-Yu was going to win, but Chris Wakelin, if he gets there, he'll be very pleased. We saw how pleased he was to win his semi-final. And he's on the brink.
52.
Yeah. 47 in front, so this is the ball. Chang Bing-Yu's had a really terrific week. Struggled in the final. Chris Wakelin has not struggled. This is for victory. He's made short work of it in the end, and his friends will join the celebrations, as his family will. Just make sure of this red, and then surely there's just no way back in this frame, in this final. Yeah, there is the release of emotion. No great theatrics, but you can see what it means to Chris Wakelin. Snooker, like life, is full of ups and downs, but this is a career high.
64.
Yes, he knew that moment he'd done the job, he'd won. And he's already won the shootout, but this is much as we love the shootout, this is the next level, really, of winning big events. Been on the calendar a number of years. Carries six-figure sum of money and ranking points. But I think just to lift the Stephen Hendry Trophy, you know, it's something that's become quite traditional, this event.
79.
All credit to him, he's played brilliantly today.
Yeah, and he has now the 5 colours to end with a century.
82.
Chang Bing-Yu has impressed greatly this week. He's not the first player to struggle in his first big final, but he'll learn from it, I'm sure.
86. $91.
Christmas has come early for this man. He's going to end with a century if he pots this black. It's a winter warmer for wonderful Wakelin. Chris Wakelin lands the Stephen Hendry Trophy with a comprehensive 9-2 victory over Chang Bing-Yu, who struggled in his first final. 9-2 the scoreline, and what a wonderful picture.
And £100,000. Ladies and gentlemen, he is your 2025 Bet Victor Scottish Open champion, Chris Wakelin.
Yeah, well done to Chris Wakelin. As he said, he didn't have many expectations coming here, but he's proven again what a formidable match player he is. And just looks so cool throughout this final. There he is with the Stephen Hendry Trophy. The last winner on the World Snooker Tour in 2025. The 14th different ranking event winner in a row.